Oh, how I would love to be a fly on the wall in SFWA DMs between their board members right now. You know they're panicking. You know that they are going absolutely ballistic because I got into their private forum for members, dropping posts about all the crazy crap that's going down. Now, SFWA is basically falling apart at the seams. It's the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association, with their president, Jeffy Kennedy, stepping down a little over a week ago. And then the interim president immediately stepped down a week later after doing nothing. It's a complete cluster, and it couldn't happen to a nicer organization. Now, SFWA used to have like a real purpose. It used to be a sort of union of science fiction writers going up against publishers, making sure that contracts were not screwing writers. It was done by some great professionals back in the day. They used their industry clout in order to just make things better for professional authors. But now that we're in like the 2024s, 20s, whatever it is, publishers really don't have much of anything to do with contracts. I mean, they have their boilerplate stuff, and that's about it. And most people who actually make money writing just do so by publishing themselves, like I do. And so there's really not a lot for SFWA to do. I mean, the best they could do is if they actually got real writers together is maybe go try to hassle Amazon, because Amazon takes way too high of a percentage for what they do and kind of screws writers on that end. But I don't know that they would have enough clout with their current membership in order to do that. So it's kind of a dead organization. It's basically a social club now for loser wannabe writers who are, pretending and LARPing like they're successful authors. And it's been just circling the drain for a long time as nobody wants to do any work in this organization. Now, what you're about to see and what we're about to show you is a sort of death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's not really like some big bombshell that Jeffy Kennedy has some skeletons in her closet. She probably does. But it's more that it's been like 4 or 5 years of nobody working for this organization and it just falling apart. And now something kind of big threatens it because of negligence is what it comes down to. We're going to get into the news in just a moment. My name's John Delarose. I'm the most trusted name in science fiction fandom, guys. So please hit the like and subscribe button. And I'm also a wonderful science fiction writer. SFWA has banned me years ago. And even with that, like my Stars Entwined actually just crossed 5,000 copies in sales. I really appreciate you guys for coming in so hard and supporting our work. Now, this is a trilogy, and it's a space opera trilogy called The Arishon War. You can get all 3 books on Amazon to read for this weekend, and they're all available on audio, which is great. I actually got this whole trilogy done on audio this year. It's been great. People have been just very, very kind in talking about how they love this series. It's a slow burn at first, but it really picks up. I really stick the landing. And I'm writing a new series that's going to dovetail out of this universe and build on the world building here, so you'll want to get in on this. Check it out. It's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for reading. You are amazing. Real science fiction readers here. Our sales over the last week have been insane, and it's just a testament to the fact that people are craving some non-woke content for their science fiction reading, something SFWA doesn't provide anymore. So like I said, I got into their forums, and I have a Discord. By the way, if you're a SFWA member, if you're all that, and you want to just hang out in my Discord and talk science fiction books, you're welcome. Like, look, here's the deal: we're not a-holes over here. You guys have made this like little clout structure in this organization. There's like maybe 700 members, and you try to make it like this little mean girls club. You guys don't accomplish anything. Most of you don't even sell anything whatsoever. You must be just seething right now, just watching my Kickstarter book sales. And I'll just brag about this real quick. Wow. And things like that. It's really funny. Now, there's a lot of old members involved in SFWA too. They've kind of been outvoted in recent years. So there's a lot of people who are just legacy members there from the 90s, 80s, who are writers out there. And most of them, of course, are also just they're lefties, but they're not like the modern day woke activists that are really torching the company, because those woke activists don't actually do anything. But this man right here is a author from the 90s, Michael Capobianco, and he did some decent books in the 90s. They've largely kind of been forgotten to the sands of time. But he's a real writer, and he's a real author who was in SFWA. And his wife, A.C. Crispin, actually one of my favorite Star Trek novelists. I'm a big reader of Star Trek novels. A.C. Crispin was somebody who was very influential on me growing up. She's no longer with us, unfortunately. But he ran a whole gambit of a post that just like really talked about how bad SFWA's been over the last few years. And this is my first leak from the forums. We're going to keep dropping more bombshells on them over the weekend, so stay tuned. Oh my gosh. But this is a good one. This is an amazingly well thought out long post. And here it is. So he says, I think a lot of people are taken aback by Jeffy's sudden resignation and lack some context for what's been happening today. I want to post here with my own perspective. Please note that this post is not an attack on any board member, on Jeffy, or on the board as a whole. This guy's a consummate professional. You can tell by the way he's writing this. He truly cares. And we truly care over here. Look, I mean, SFWA's treated me very, very badly. But at the same time, like having a writers organization that actually acts professional and, would be a good thing. If these guys turn it around and just turn it into a real organization where they don't just make it a political thing anymore, it'd be much better. I really would. And so Anthony Eichenbaum, the new president, I know you're watching this. Look, I'm here. I'm a real writer. I can help the organization. I've got infrastructure of people who would help. My buddy Vox Day, same thing. You just got to get over your little prejudices. And the ironic part is you always call us bigots and prejudiced. It's you who are acting like that for real. And so just change it. And we can make things better again. Make science fiction great again. First of all, I hope resigning gives Jeffy the space she needs to work on what sounds like an incredibly difficult time in her personal life. However, I just want it on the record that her resignation letter ignores the fact that some past members of the board and staff, as well as numerous SFWA members, were asking for her to be removed from her position for a number of reasons. So apparently people were fed up with her leadership or lack thereof. What we're going to find out is basically Jeffy was just not using the president thing as a clout thing, just to go around and say, I'm the president of SFWA, and not really working. Imagine that. I would even say that her email is a great example of why folks were asking for her removal. Oof. It places the blame for what's happening squarely on something else and makes her seem like the victim rather than accepting any accountability of how her own actions have led to the current circumstances. And that's been absolutely true of SFWA. Like I said, these people made it into a political clout structure. Jeffy doesn't sell books. She has no idea how to be a professional author. She's LARPing at it. She runs this YouTube channel. It's hilarious. Look up Jeffy Kennedy, where she just she rings these chimes and goes, "Good morning, everybody. This is Jeffy Kennedy. It's time for our first sip of coffee of the day." And then she goes, and she makes the slurping noise and everything. And 20 people watch those videos. It's ridiculous. And she does that because it's just about personal clout and pretending and putting that face on that I am the president of SFWA. So she looks important. And that's a lot of what these people do. And that's the thing. Like, people who are actually important don't need to try to look important. It's really ridiculous. The immediate event that kicked this off, and this is the bombshell, guys. Tara May being terminated from her staff position after putting in a 90-day notice due to being denied reasonable disability accommodations, and then banned from Discord and blocked from accessing her SFWA email, presumably by Jeffy, after she asked for an explanation on Discord in Ask the Board channel. This is a full stop. Oh, God, SFWA's done. They're done. I've reached out to Tara LeMay to see if she'll come on the channel and talk about this. Of course, we are always interested in reporting the news. No response so far. But if you don't know, the American Disabilities Act is a really, really nasty one. And businesses all over have been hit by this all the time. And it's a huge scam. Don't get me wrong. But it is the law. And so if you do have somebody who's complaining about disability issues within your organization, you have to make a major paper trail that you're trying to correct them, that you're accommodating, that you're doing things, or you're screwed. This is like a lot. If this woman's suing over this because she was terminated, because she was asking about disability accommodations, that's wrongful termination. If she's been banned from the Discord when she was trying to talk about it, I mean, she's got a paper trail of just like gross negligence and people trying to hurt her for her disabilities, which, I mean, that could be $1 million plus lawsuit. SFWA is in trouble if this is a thing. Prior to that, several board members and staff also resigned from their positions. So this is a big deal. So even though the president one was the one that was made public, a bunch of the board and staff just pieced out because they couldn't handle Jeffy also. I also don't know for certain these resignations were related to Jeffy and actually did not realize the staff had resigned until this happened. As far as I know, Kate is currently the only SFWA staff member. I think she's their executive director. And so they only have one staff member now. Communications from the board have been slow, opaque in general over the past few years. The Nebula's conference always seems to get cited as a reason not to do anything. So they always go, oh, we're busy, the Nebula conference. But on top of that, a number of volunteers and former volunteers, myself included, have been frustrated with a lack of transparency from the board and the fact that some board members have tended to constantly blame volunteers for projects failing when it was the board that canceled them. This is hilarious. So got volunteers, they treat them like they're lesser citizens because we're the board, and then blame the volunteers when there's trouble. Also, despite frequently pushing extra heavy workloads onto those volunteers and providing them with zero support. As an example of this, see Jason Sanford's post about his withdrawal from running SFWA's annual auction. Interesting. I do want to see that. Maybe we'll post it. Jeffy has a history of sending communications that shift blame away from her, like the one announcing her resignation. And although, again, I see no reason to disbelieve her personal stuff, I also hope she can get to the support she needs to get through that, which are often dismissive and insulting. Wow. I've seen these communications firsthand as a SFWA volunteer. Sometimes they have been sent to people outside of SFWA when asking them to do things that were absolutely SFWA's fault. If you can see examples of the forum post I made about why I no longer volunteer for SFWA, especially the ones about canceling a planned Ukraine benefit anthology. This is crazy by itself. In that case, Jeffy sent the publisher an email asking them to shred a $5,000 check that SFWA had already sent the project, and then made it sound like rogue volunteers was the problem. Now, full stop again. Why is SFWA taking $5,000 of membership dues and sending them to a publisher to help that publisher get things published? Why, Jesus Christ, that's ridiculous. Did everybody vote and say this was okay? I mean, I wouldn't want, if I was a member here, I wouldn't want my dues going towards some Ukraine anthology, some pointless, crappy anthology for some pointless, crappy war. That has nothing to do with science fiction. It has nothing to do with my betterment as an author. So why would you do that? It's insane. Absolutely insane. Pretty good that if they did shred it and not actually go through with that, because what a waste. What a throwing away of people's membership dues. Oh my gosh. As opposed to having the board. Okay, so the board had the project for a year and a half and then abruptly canceled it. So mismanagement again, even with something that's stupid. It seems like a part of the issue is everyone serving on the board and in some volunteer positions is always asked to sign a really broad NDA. That's crazy too, which they feel stops them from being able to talk about anything. My personal opinion that in this case, that NDA and opaque environment it creates resulted in a space in which staff and board members did not feel empowered to speak out about their own poor treatment, which allowed Jeffy to continue acting in ways that did not benefit the organization as a whole. Wow. So these people were just bound by NDAs and abused. The NDA thing is always such a bad deal. Always a bad sign. I get the impression Jeffy's email took the board by surprise just as much as it took the rest of us by surprise. I hope we will see a formal announcement from the current board after they have had a chance to meet and figure out their next steps. Finally, if you are a board member and reading this, please do let the membership know if there's anything we do to help. We want SFWA to succeed. So, he's being a nice guy and professional with this, but he laid the bombshell out. I mean, you could see why SIF was just a cluster at this point. This woman and her acolytes and all the weird woke weirdos who just wanted to get voted in like it's a high school, high school president election, right? and they get to say, I'm president of the high school. It's a popularity contest within a group of unpopular people, right? And then they use this to just compensate for their childhoods of not being popular because they're weird people. And that's what they've turned SFWA into. It's really, really sad because this organization could be something that's actually useful for authors. It could actually be pushing against Amazon, could be doing things to promote the authors in the organization. I mean, that's a big thing that's needed for people. But that's not what they're accomplishing. They're not a business focused. They're not science fiction focused. They're just focused on virtue signaling, their little woke politics, and being a little monkey troop that acts like they're important. That's it. And I hope it changes. I really hope it does. I've reached out to the current president and said, hey, I would love to talk. I mean, I was treated very poorly by this regime, and it'd be nice to actually, get things going and be able to work together. I'm a hardworking guy. I hit deadlines. Are they going to still be about just like pointless politics, or are they going to actually move forward and do something real? That's the question everybody's asking. But gosh, with a lawsuit like this, they might need to completely disband and reorganize, because yikes, that ADA thing, that's not a joke. That is a killer. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my Stars Entwined and the whole trilogy, The Stars Asunder, The Stars Rejoined, in the Arresian War. You will absolutely love this. It is a wonderful space opera. And thank you guys so much for the support. It's been amazing as we've been growing here. We'll be back soon.